This is the River Ridge Somerset two-door wall cabinet in white. Well, technically it's a box containing the individual components, but that won't be the case much longer, because in this video, we're going to walk step by step through the entire assembly process. We'll also mount the unit on the wall and consider the pros and cons of this piece of furniture. Let's get started. The first step of the assembly process involves attaching some of the hardware to the doors. The magnet plates, F, are attached with a single flathead screw, D, on the inside top of each door. A small pre-drilled hole marks this location. Next, the door handles, K, are secured in place with 4 machine screws. In step 2, hardware is attached to what the instructions describe as support boards, labeled 13 and 14. 3 cam bolts, B, get screwed into the pre-drilled holes of each piece. The door hinges also get mounted to these pieces. On my particular unit, several of the pre-drilled hinge holes were not properly centered. But fortunately, that didn't seem to cause any real alignment problems. In step 3, the support boards from step 2 are attached to the sides of the cabinet, parts 3 and 4. The cam bolts in the support boards are inserted into the holes on the edge of the side panels. Cam locks are then placed in the larger holes of the side panels and rotated clockwise to secure the pieces together. In step 4, a shelf, number 6, and crossbar number 5 are attached to the side panel assemblies that were created in step 3. First, cam bolts are screwed into the left and right side panel assemblies. Next, 2 wooden dowels are placed into each end of the shelf and the crossbar. The bolts and dowels of the shelf and crossbar are inserted into the corresponding holes in the side panel assemblies. Finally, cam locks are placed into the underside of the shelf and tightened. In step 5, the bottom and top pieces, numbers 8 and 7, are attached to the assembly created in the previous step. 1 cam bolt is screwed into the center hole on each side of the bottom piece. 4 dowels go into the remaining holes. The bottom and the assembly are aligned, and cam locks are installed and tightened. The exact process is repeated for the top. The top piece, however, also gets a magnet, H, attached at the site of 2 small pre-drilled holes. In step 6, the backing pieces 9, 10, and 11 are attached to the cabinet. The upper piece, 9, connects to the middle piece, 10, via a plastic connection strip labeled N. The bottom piece, number 11, is placed independently. Screws, labeled G, are used to attach the pieces to the cabinet. Although there are holes in these pieces that mark the screw locations, there are no corresponding pre-drilled holes in the cabinet itself, making it very difficult to drive the screws by hand. I ended up using a drill with a small bit to create pilot holes. Using the drill as a driver to start the screws might be another option. In step 7, the doors are attached to the hinges on the cabinet. I found it easiest to do this with the cabinet on its back, and the doors supported at the approximate height with random items. In my case, I just used a stack of flattened cardboard boxes. There's also an option with this unit to add an adjustable shelf to the inside of the cabinet. Just insert the shelf holder pins into the desired holes and place the shelf. The cabinet's mounted to the wall by screws which pass through holes in the crossbar and the back piece and are driven into either a stud or a drywall anchor. The manufacturer includes a drilling template to help ensure that the drilled holes are properly spaced. In this scenario, the cabinet was to be mounted in the center of the available space at a previously determined height. The space of the opening was measured, divided in half, and a mark was made on the wall. A level line was drawn approximately 2 inches below where the top of the cabinet was to be located. This is because the mounting holes are about 2 inches below the cabinet top. A center line was marked on the drilling template, and it was positioned so that it lined up with the center mark that had been made on the wall, with the top of the template lined up along the level line. Drywall anchors are included with the unit, and these may be perfectly adequate. I like to err on the side of caution, though, and use Togler drywall anchors for 3/8 to 1/2 inch thick drywall. Unfortunately, due to user error, there is no video of the last phase of the cabinet being hung. I can assure you, though, you didn't miss much. Just me drilling 2 holes, inserting 2 drywall anchors, and struggling to hold the cabinet in place while driving 2 screws. Overall, I definitely have a positive impression of the River Ridge Somerset 2-door wall cabinet. In terms of the pros, it's an attractive unit. It also has something of a classic design that makes it appropriate for bathrooms with various decor. It's affordable. At the time of purchase, this unit cost $63. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a similar wall-mount bathroom cabinet of this quality for any less. And it's well constructed. I have complete faith that once it's assembled, it's going to stay assembled. This unit was solid. It didn't flex, squeak, or rattle. In terms of the cons, it had a few minor cosmetic imperfections, but I think these were well within the range of acceptability for a cabinet at this price point. The assembly design also resulted in some exposed hardware. The cam locks on the sides near the bottom shelf are particularly obvious. A strategically placed decorative item, or a spare roll of toilet paper, though, can solve this issue. So if you're in the market for a wall mount cabinet in this particular style, this unit's definitely worthy of consideration. I've added a link to the product page on Amazon in the description section.